Hello, everyone, and welcome to our show. This is Ursula for a beautiful edition of the Ottawa Book Expo 2022, where we celebrate our top authors, writers, editors, entrepreneurs, and also our restaurants and other food-related establishments. It's a good moment, a great moment to spend together and celebrate literary culture and to celebrate it. Today, I'm glad to receive as my guest the author, Suzann Capra, the creative, actually, Suzann Capra. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
We're glad to receive you,
I
Suzann.
am
It's a
here in
pleasure.
Manhattan.
I know you're here in Manhattan. That's great, right? How is it
Uh-huh.
in Manhattan right now?
Oh, I have to check the weather, but it's been very, very warm.
It's great.
I'm
Winter is
enjoying
coming
it.
soon, so
But it's nice. As long as you don't have to wear a coat, everything is fine. With
exactly.
my two dogs and my two cats.
You can still enjoy this good weather with your dogs and cats. And talking about dogs,
Yeah.
that's the theme of your book, right?
Yes, it is.
So
You
your
see,
book,
I've had dogs all my life.
right?
And
So
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. We're listening to you.
No, I started studying metaphysics many years ago as a teenager, and I really believe in reincarnation. So every dog that I've had, I kind of think, well, where did I know this dog from? Was she my previous dog? Maybe a dog, maybe my a former dog that I had, or a dog that I knew. So in this book, I kind of go into that a little bit because it was very strange how I met the
Hmm.
dog in this book, Spice. I'll tell you a very quick story. I wasn't looking for a dog. And I usually hear people say that. I really wasn't. And I was trying to find a dog for my mother.
Hmm.
And I went up, I was searching the internet and I went up to a shelter. And on the way there, I was late for my appointment, but that was okay because when I got there, I got off the bus, I was practicing my Spanish. And I asked a lady in Spanish, ¿Dónde están los animales de control? And she said, no, no, I speak English. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So I never made it inside the animal
Okay.
shelter because I said, I'm looking for a dog. She said, oh, I have a dog. I said, oh, I'm trying to find a home for it. Oh, okay. Well, I only want a Chihuahua. She said, that's what I have, a Chihuahua. I said,
Okay.
oh, is she small? Well, she wasn't the smallest, but yet she was small. So she said, okay, I need to find a home for her. I'll bring her over tomorrow. So that was the start of my getting Spice. The lady who had to move to Florida brought her over. And
Uh-huh.
as soon as Spice saw me, it was ecstasy. It was, oh, I know you.
Oh,
She runs over to me, licking me,
so
and
cute.
up, wagging her tail. She took over the whole apartment. It was very exciting. And she didn't even care about the other lady who she lived with for under a year. So I said, didn't think about reincarnation at that time. I just said it was destined, we're meant to be. So throughout the years, Spicy and I did a lot of activities together, normal stuff like walking or feeding her, playing. But I decided I was going to take her to the country. And that's where this whole story evolves.
Mm.
And I started writing it because I could actually read her mind. It got to that point. You kind of know when you're been with a dog for a long time, you kind of gather their information from their reactions, even their facial expression, their eyes, their
True.
actions and how they act. So that's where the story began. It's about Isis's, her real name is Isis, but I couldn't use Isis, obviously.
Okay.
We switched it to Spice. So this was all about her trip in spending 2 weeks in a country house.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting.
And it's written in letters. Spice decides to write to her friend in the city and complain about her life. And so it's a series of letters of what she did there. She met a boyfriend there
So
named Sir
cute.
Wellington. And Sir Wellington was very distinguished, had great ancestry, and that really excited her
Mm-hmm.
in my imagination. And so then the trip back, and what happened when we got back. So the car ride and all the things that go on when you're with a dog. So that's what the secret letters is all about. It's Spice writing all her secret letters and me having them. And at the end, she talks a bit about reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
That, of course, she's been here before. We've all been here before. And she's now on the doggy planet and communicating with me. And next time, she said, next time she wants to come back as a great big dog, she can eat much more food.
That's so cute. Exactly. Your book actually it's named Secret Letters from Spice, New York City Dog.
Yes.
And that's great. And you talked about the fact that you were connecting with Spice minds, right? Well, your dog Isis mind. So how did you connect to her mind so that you could write what she feels, what she thinks, and everything? How did you connect to her mind?
Of course, she couldn't talk, verbally, but more just tuning into a feeling sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, this is what she wants to tell me. Oh, okay, and then describing what happened and taking poetic license, including things like I know she loves garbage. All dogs love garbage. If And so there wasn't any garbage in the country.
Okay.
And that was very upsetting to her. At one point, she asks the lady she's writing to in the city, who is Auntie Evie, who is actually a real person who adored Isis. Uh,
Mhm.
she asked her to send her a package of dog urine so she could really have fun sniffing, pour it all around the trees and the bushes, and
That's
things
what.
like it's so noisy in the city and there was no noise there, and that really upset her. So I elaborated on everything, of course, and you'll find out when you read the book. It's I just took the position that I could understand everything and was
Mhm.
right there, right in tune with her, and understood everything she was going through.
Okay.
And then she and I also had a relationship where she felt she was in charge of everything.
Mhm.
She was adding to my life, and I had nothing to do with the situation. And that she was very unhappy that I chose her. Not saying that how I found her, but
Mhm.
she could have found another home where the people would have been, more cooperative.
Okay.
She was training me throughout the book on when to give her her biscuits and things like, well, I'm taking over your bed now. So it was more like that she was in charge and she was training me, and I had better listen to her.
Mhm.
Not that I, not that she was going to listen to me. And with that particular dog, that was very true. In fact, the lady who had her before took her to a dog training place, and they said, "This is the only dog we have never been able to train. She's too difficult." So I put that in, little things that I picked up here and there and expanded upon it.
Very interesting. That's a special dog, right? So how, I mean, how easy was it for you to write from from her perspective, because usually people write from the perspective of another human character. So how was it for you during the writing process?
It was great fun. It was so much fun as it developed.
Uh-huh.
I was writing, but I wasn't preparing as far as well. It was just kind of coming through me
Okay.
from another source, and in each letter, I
From the
was
dog planet.
I said, oh, this is interesting, and then I started writing. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen next, And then I started writing some more.
Yeah.
And then, of course, meeting the dog. There was a dog up there across the street who, of course, she barked at, and they were not friends. But then I made it into a whole thing where, oh, they were friends. They fell in love with each other.
Yeah.
Their whole ritual of meeting and what they did together. And so it's basically me listening to an inner voice saying, writing for me.
Okay, very
Yeah,
interesting.
yes.
And what is the funniest part of the book that you wrote? What's your favorite part of the book?
Oh, there's so many little favorite parts. Um, I guess when well, I also included two other dogs that she lives with, and
Uh-huh.
I guess the conflict between them. She always felt superior. She was a superior dog, and she wanted nothing to do with these two little dogs. And how dare I give her a home with these two unintelligent dogs? And so I guess the whole situation with the biscuits, he had to stand guard over her biscuits so the other two wouldn't swipe them. That was always lots of fun. Oh, and the time she looked in a mirror and didn't quite know what it was, and
Mm-hmm.
her reaction to seeing this other dog that she thought was very ugly, and it was actually her, but she didn't realize. So little things like that throughout the letters. There are a few little things, like our trip home, our ride home, where she tried to direct me, and she was sure we're going to be in an accident because of the way I was as a driver. So all these little things, and there, I guess love the whole experience. Now I'm writing blogs for my site, and and again, it's so much fun. But I have to get into the right mindset to do it. So I may be writing one a week because I'm
Mm-hmm.
so busy working at my other job, and so much to do. So if I don't get totally almost into a meditative state, I really can't
Mm-hmm.
do it. But it's almost as if she comes through to me and tells
Nice.
me, and yeah.
That's interesting. Have you always wanted to be a writer?
No, actually, no. I spent
No.
years being an actor.
You are an actor, true.
Yes, doing off Broadway and doing little bits on films and soap operas, and also studying singing because I always wanted to sing. I could never sing, but after years of lessons, finally, I I got to put the words together the right way and tune into the melody, and that's terrific fun. And then, of course, I have my degree in speech pathology, so I
Yeah.
work with kids, and so I'm very much into that child mind. I know how to get in there and have as much fun as I try to have them have, and at the same time teach them the sounds they need, or how to process a question. And I'm very patient, so I can say a question in various different ways, maybe 20 times.
That's a quality.
So again, that's from dealing with pets, I think, with animals.
That's great. Okay, so it's something was, let's say, kind of new for you to write. So how was it when you started to write? Was it easy? Was it scary? How did you
Oh,
feel?
well, actually, I started writing one act plays.
Uh-huh.
So they selected my plays to be in the off Broadway play festival in New York City, and that was wonderful to do. But I kind of dropped that. I mean, I'd like to go back to it, but I haven't had time, and I want to get into more depth with the characters.
Okay.
But no, I've done a lot of playwriting.
But it's different now, like the playwriting and the like the story of Spice. It's kind of different. So the process of writing is different. So when you wrote that novel, how was it for you? Because it's not the same as what you are used to do, right?
Right. Well, in the playwriting, and because I've done so much acting, I understand
Mm-hmm.
theater, the stage, not film, but the stage pretty well. And so I had to develop other characters, you know.
Yeah.
And that was hard because then I had to get into the psychology of who they were. So whereas with Spice, I didn't have to. It was almost as if she was a projection of me, you know,
Mm.
and I lived with her for so many years, and I knew her so thoroughly,
Wow.
but not in the play. I mean, I like to write historical plays because it's so fascinating to talk about the people or to get a storyline on the people who were famous.
Hmm.
But yes, so it was different in that respect. Spice, it was almost as if it was programmed into me, or I'm trying to think of the word. It was just coming through me as a medium, you know.
You were channeling her, right? Her
Channeling,
thing.
that's the word, channeling. Yes. I was channeling Spice. Whereas with playwriting, I didn't do that. You know,
I
it had
see.
to be a lot of conflict, you know, and although there is conflict with Spice, but it's not the same, it's not earth shattering, you know, it's not something that you watch on stage. It's like,
Mhm.
oh my God, that's what happened. You know, it's not anything like that. It's more little conflicts you have with your pet. And anyone can relate to this book because every dog that I've ever been with and people telling me about their dogs, I kind of fit in there. So, you know, about a dog wanting to sleep in the bed, takes over the bed. These are common things that all
That's
those experience, um, putting her on a diet, her barking at me and trying to tell me things. No, every dog owner goes through this, and it's so nice to see, you know, see your dog in Spice.
it's a cute and a funny story that yes, that every dog parents or uh, dog parents to be can relate, as you said, and even those who have cats actually, because there's this image of cats who are very independent, but other cats are very like close to their let's say fur parents, right? So
Yeah.
every person who has an animal can relate to that book, and it's cute and funny. It's adorable, actually. I love it. And you
Now I'm
submit.
and now
Yeah.
I'm putting I have a new kitten. I'm putting the new kitten into the blog.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, with
That's
Spice, although they haven't lived at the same time, but how she despises this kitten, and how dare I pick up the kitten?
yes.
Picked up all the time, and how I'm ignoring her.
Oh.
I'm going into a lot of that now. And interesting with this kitten, I planned on her because I rescued a gorgeous Persian at 13 years old who had
Wow.
severe bladder infection and kidney disease. But
Oh.
I said, okay, I'm still going to deal with it because she needs to be saved. So
Mhm.
I had her about 3.5 years, and she recently passed on. And I said, okay, I want this cat to be reincarnated. So I searched the internet and I found a cat site where they were breeding cats. And so I found out that the new kittens would be born on such and such a date. And that would be maybe 10, 15 days after my other cat had passed on. So I said, okay, I'm going to see that she's reincarnated into the kitten. So that's where I am now.
Very interesting.
Yes, but
You
we are.
have
Mhm.
you seem to have a great connection with animals, right? You connect with them, with their minds. Where does that come from?
I guess I really don't know, but I've had pets all my life. Probably maybe probably could be from a past life. Could know them
Oh,
from past lives, or maybe in this life when I was a very little girl. I had an incredible little dog who my parents took away from me. So
mm,
that was horrible. So I think then I started talking to her in my mind, and so that just continued.
I
Uh,
see.
and then when I got another dog, you know, I developed more of that ability until Spice or a previous dog, Samantha. I've also rescued dogs from my elderly aunt and my mother. I take their dogs, and a girlfriend who was dying of leukemia, and she asked me to take her dogs, which I did, two little chihuahuas. So I've had so much experience with older dogs,
I understand.
which are phenomenal. And just being able to read them, I don't know how, but I'm sure a lot of dog owners can read their dogs.
Yeah, no, definitely. I heard that a lot. And
Mhm.
as you said, well, you live, it's like living with another person. You get to know that person more and more. At some points, you know what the person think, feels. You
Yeah.
recognize, as you said, the facial expressions. And yes, animals are very expressive. So I feel what you mean. And I also observe that you have a very strong presence on the internet. I mean, because we have a lot of authors and aspiring authors who are watching us today. So, what would be for you the best advice or tip to market your book? Because you have a strong presence, so maybe other people would like to have your advice on how to do it.
On how to talk like this? Is that what you mean?
No, because for example, when we look at your book, when we search at your book on the internet, you have a strong presence. We can find a lot of pages and websites where your books is sold and everything. So I was wondering, what's
Oh,
your advice to market the best way your book?
well, stick with Agora Press. And
Okay.
because they're my publishers, and they got me to do a website called, not I think Spice, the City Dog. Yeah,
Mhm.
not the whole title of the book. Now I'm doing blogs, but I thought you said presence, right? Like a
Yes.
presence. That's
Yes.
because that comes from just being on the computer a lot. I do virtual with kids, and I learned to be very silent and very
Mm,
listen very well and pause and know what I'm doing, of course, with the children. But also, I guess my acting experience has given me that ability. I studied acting for many years with the
great.
greatest teachers, and I used to be not at all like this. You learn as you perform.
I see.
Yeah, like,
Great.
oh my God, I forgot my line. What am I going to do next? As you're thinking to yourself and continuing with the character that you are.
Sure, sure. It's like doing an improvisation. It's experience, right?
It's
Experience
experience.
teaches you.
Yeah. Or the other actor forgets to give me the right cue, and I go, oh no, fine. And then that actually happened in a play called Bleacher Bums, Joe Mantegna's play about baseball. I'm not sure, I don't remember which team now in Chicago. Anyway, this was a while ago. And the actor there are a couple of actors. We're in a makeup, we were in a bleachers. They put a bleachers on the stage.
Mhm.
And so my cue to come on stage was a couple of lines that I was waiting to hear. He never said them. I said,
Oh,
"Oh my God."
wow.
The stage manager said, just go on stage, go. So I
Wow.
did, and I started just talking my lines, and we all kind of looked at each other, fear in our eyes, but saying our lines until we caught up.
Great.
And
Wait, that's the beauty of life when everything happens live, right? But it's authentic at the same time, and as you said, you learn from that,
yes,
and it helps. Well, thank you so much, Suzanne, for everything that you shared today. That is very great, and I love how you explained your book and how you connect to Spice, her mind, and now we can follow her adventures with the new kitten on your blog. We will leave all the information for our auditors so that they can visit your blog and know
okay.
more about the story. Thank you so, so much for your time, Suzanne. It's a pleasure for us. And we'll see you very soon. Hopefully, you're in Manhattan, but right?
That
It's
sounds wonderful. Maybe I'll come and visit.
sure, we're waiting for you.
And you can teach me French.
I will.
Oh,
Thank
the
you.
accent.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you
very
so much,
a pleasure
Suzanne.
meeting you and talking to everybody. Thank you so much.
Same, thank you, and thank you to all our editors for this beautiful new edition. And we see you soon, maybe to a new next edition of Ottawa Book Expo. But thank you for being here with us. Thank you, Suzanne, and thank you to all of
Thank
you.
you.